Welcome for this, what are we, second week of March. Had a very busy day today. I should say it's been a very busy week. So I'm so happy to get here and see all of you. Seems like there's a lot of chat here. So we've got a lot of people in the house today. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Yeah, it's been, March seems to be like a mad kickoff, doesn't it? Although we know this isn't the only kickoff, but March seems to really get things going. Hello, Pauline and Mel. And who else do we have? Graham. Graham, good to see you. Let's see, Nancy. Welcome. Oh, you're in snowy Iowa. Wow. We're expecting 3 to 6 inches tonight. So I know we're probably not anywhere near where you are with the snow, but we've had a few good dumps of snow, let me tell you. I think it was last week. We were supposed to get 10 inches. We only got 5. But 5 is still a respectable amount of snow, isn't it? Hi, Amanda. I don't think I'm catching everybody here, but welcome to all. And I always, if I miss you, it's not for lack of trying to not miss you. So anyway, I hope that you've. And we have Nicola from a wet and windy Cornwall, UK. I understand the UK right now is getting hit with a lot of snow. At least that's what I understand. So I think we're all feeling that kind of right behind, right when we're ready to get out there and start our gardens up. Winter kind of wants to remind us that the weather's really still in charge. So, hi, Stephen. Hi, Sharon. Hi, Rob. Uh, yeah, so busy time. I did something today that I've never done before. Hi, Rebecca. Um, I started strawberries from seed. Never tried to grow strawberries from seed, but I just planted a whole lot of seeds. So we will see. I'm planting. They're white strawberries. So white with they have red seeds. So they're almost like the opposite of a regular strawberry. But we had some, I would say about a month ago, and they were so sweet, and so they almost like were strawberries up a notch. So I thought, yes, pine berries. That's kind of what they go by. And I thought, well, I'm going to grow some of these. I couldn't find plants. So I thought, that's okay. I'll order some seed and we'll give that a shot. So I've got a flat of those going, a 50 cell flat. And of course, we put a couple seeds, couple, 3, 4 seeds in each one. So hopefully we'll get some. Yeah. So I thought if they all come up, because, I'm on a reasonably limited space. I mean, I do have a large backyard, but I'm kind of limited. So I thought I would interplant these with my asparagus because strawberries and asparagus grow nicely together. So, I love alpine strawberries, Pauline. Uh, and you really can only get them if you grow them because those would never ship well um, to anyone, would they? I mean, they're so delicate. They're just like candy to me. Um, so yeah, alpines. That was, I think, one of the first strawberries. Well, I guess I did start those from seed, so I guess this isn't my first time. So, but this is a regular strawberry or pine berry, I guess is the appropriate name. So I'm very excited about that. That's kind of a new one. I also got all my tomatoes in this week. Planted my tomatoes on Tuesday, and then today planted the root stock that I'm going to be grafting a lot of those onto. So I'm very excited to see how that goes. It's been years since I have grafted. So I'm very excited to give that a try again this year. I have also a lot of tomatoes started, and I think I also have to be creative about where all they are going to go this year, because I might have, you know, planted a few more than perhaps is reasonable. But I get a little, what's the word? Inspired when I see certain pictures of of tomatoes. And I love those, the dark red, almost black tomatoes. They're so rich and smoky and so good. So I know I'll find room. I need to be a little creative this year with where I'm putting everything. So I'm using, Steven's asking what rootstock am I using. I'm using two different rootstock because I can't remember what I used to use. And one of them was from, it was from a tomato purveyor, a seed purveyor. It didn't have a name. I think it was called, oh wait, can I look and see what I did today? Let me see. Everything's right here so that I can get it in my database. Here we go. One of them was called Super Strong Tomato Rootstock. Very creative name. From Tomato Growers Supply. And it's one of those resistant to all kinds of diseases and nematodes, and it's another one that you can't, resistant to Vercillium, wilt, fusarium, nematodes, and tobacco mosaic virus. And then the other one I got, it's called Fortamino. It's rootstock from Botanical Interests, and another one that's, resistant to just about everything. And both of them, of course, say don't grow the tomatoes out on this stock because the tomatoes are awful, but the rootstock is very good. So that's what I'm doing. So I'm hoping to put almost all of my tomatoes onto this rootstock. So if I had more room, I would grow one that was grafted next to one that isn't, but I don't think I could grow that many tomatoes. I might do a few, just do a couple where I, grow one without, just to see, is the difference really significant? I think it is, from what I recall. And so I can't wait to see like a Brad's Atomic Grape, which tends to be it looks like a weak plant because it doesn't put on a lot of, I don't know, it just always looks spindly and like it's on its last legs. And then it produces a ton of fruit. But I'm anxious to see if I put that on a more vigorous rootstock, what I might get out of that. So very exciting to have all that in the ground. Transplanted some of my herbs today. My rosemary, thyme. I have a couple of oreganos going. And they look so good once they get potted up, right? So they're well off on their way. And so that's what's kind of happened in my world. My artichokes are quite enormous at this point. So either I've started them too early or I've started them just right at the right time so that I'm putting out really large plants when the weather uh, warms up a bit. It needs to warm up quite a bit. We're at like 30. Oh no, we're at 40. We're at 40. So what is that? 5, maybe 5 Celsius. So that's not, it's not freezing for sure, but it's chilly. So what have you guys been up to this week? What's hot on your list of things that need to get going? Oh, I also did get all my sweet peppers and mild peppers in. Um, yeah, those got in earlier in the week. So I feel like I'm in really good shape this year. I don't feel behind. I don't feel like I'm too far ahead on anything. Um, anyone put out peas yet? Sharon's asking. Traditionally, for me, I plant them on St. Patrick's Day. I don't know why, but that's what I do. And I'm going to watch the weather just a mish because, again, everybody's been. Hi, JB. Yeah, everybody's. Wait. Sorry. Sometimes I should not read while I'm trying to talk. So, yeah, I traditionally put them out on St. Patrick's Day. But I need to get sweet peas. Oh, this is kind of interesting. My neighbor on the, I guess that would be the west side of my house, put up a wooden fence because she got a dog and, obviously wants to let the dog out. But that gave me, like, I thought I could grow sweet peas up this wooden fence. So I thought that would be uh, gorgeous. So I got to get my sweet peas going because I don't necessarily want to look at a raw wood fence if I don't have to, if I could have peas, uh, sweet peas growing up it. Um, oh, it's a custom. I get it. Okay, like sowing onions on Boxing Day. So that's what I'll do, but I also might try sowing some inside so that I can get them uh, out quickly in the spring. Uh, got a question here from Mama's Oasis Allotment. Can you plant? When can you plant out? I need to start sowing tomatoes. Uh, well, are you starting them inside? Because I think that whole group goes out at different times. Your brassicas and your beetroot and your turnips can go out a lot easier, a lot earlier than your tomatoes. Tomatoes are a warm, loving crop, and the other ones can definitely take the cool. So I think it's just I would maybe get started on at least the brassicas and the beetroot and the turnips, and then I would maybe plant them out 4 weeks after they've been established. But and again, I'm not sure where you are, uh, but I don't put my tomatoes out probably till early to mid May for sure. I put them out, but if we're having a warm spring, they'll go out a little earlier. But I try not to put them out too soon because if they get a cold snap, it will stunt them a bit and it'll take them more time to get back up to speed. And you might as well have just left them indoors for a little longer. So, like tomatoes, peppers, eggplant, any of those crops, or okra, anything that loves heat, I tend to pull back on those a little bit just because they will boom away once they get in the ground and it's warm. Let me just peek back here and see if I've missed anything. If there is something that you want me to see or you have a question, just put them in caps because that will really help me. It'll help jerk my eyes to the chat. Oh wow, okay. So So what are you guys, what are you all planting right now? What is on your list of things to do? I do realize just even having this conversation that my sweet peas need to get soaked so they can get in pots. And I need to go through a little bit more of my flowers. I pulled them all the other day. I'm just going to give them a good go through and make sure I've started what I can or what I should at this point in the year so that they've got a start. My snapdragons, gosh, this is a good one for all of you who have grown snapdragons. This is I'm on and off with starting them from seed. Sometimes I buy them as starts. And they are, I think I said this last week, they're like the size of a pin. They're so tiny and they don't seem to be doing much. So I'm just going to, they're alive. Uh, they're not dying on me, but they're not thriving. So I need to kind of figure out maybe what's going on with those. Graham is saying, let's see, I've sown 29 sets of seeds and all up already. Plenty to go. Isn't that the truth? And it's so hard sometimes to also go, got to take care of everything that's already up, but I have to keep sowing things that need to come up. So yeah, I feel like we're getting into that juggling plates time of year. Uh, Fiona has, I've got sweet peas, peppers, tomatoes, aubergines at the moment, as well as my pea shoots. Wonderful. Uh, I grow my pea shoots as microgreens inside, which is always nice in the middle of these snowy days to get some fresh pea shoots. Oh, let me see. Stephen is saying no need to soak sweet peas, just use damp compost. Put your peas in and put dry compost on top. Okay, well, here's the nice thing about that, because I think I did this last year when I was doing my sweet peas, that I forgot to get them out the next day, and I think I killed all the seeds. So and I always put everything into compost. I mean, damp compost. I always pre-moisten whatever I'm sowing in. So, you know what? I'm going to give that a shot because it does take one step out of the process, which I don't mind, particularly right now. Like, this is a good time to alleviate at least one spot. So thank you, Stephen. I will do that. Amanda's saying my broad beans in the tunnels have wee flowers on them. Oh, and they have really pretty little flowers, don't they? I I have tried growing broad beans as I have become more connected with some of my UK gardening friends, and I gotta tell you, I have not been terrible. They do start to grow, and then our heat comes in and just seems to kind of wipe them out. And then I thought I need to actually try a broad bean before I decide I want to grow some. Because, here in the States, they're called fava beans. And I don't know that I've ever had any. So I think I might need to try them first because I decided not to grow them this year. And I thought, well, maybe I need to, try them. That might motivate me to give them more of a shot. Okay, now Fiona is saying I soak my sweet peas in a jar for 24 hours, then tip out the water and leave them on the windowsill in the jar to shoot. Plant them, and they are up in 2 days. Oh, so it's almost like, well, you're just doing a seed sprout, right? Well, that's interesting too. Isn't it cool how different we do the same things? And we get into a rhythm of what works for us, and we just kind of, I that's a lovely idea too. Maybe I'll give them both a shot this year because I do have those. I have done some sprouting of seeds, like for bean sprouts, um, and I bet that would work. I have a lot of sweet pea seeds this year, so maybe I'll do that. Thank you, Fiona. It's a great idea. So here's the bottom line. I need to get them. I need to get them going. Whichever method I do. Oh, here's a tip on how to double pod broad beans and make hummus. Oh, I think anything that I've heard a lot of controversy on the whole. Do you double pod? Do you single pod? And it seems to be um, people have pretty strong opinions about that. I think it's probably how you uh, have eaten them, maybe as kids or whatever. But I have heard many times, at least I know here, it's all about double potting. And then I see um people who do not, and they like them, but I think they're it's probably creamier and nicer. Uh, oh, Nancy also soaks her parsnip seeds. Well, we're having a little parsnip grow off on the Potty Mouth Garden Club, so I wonder maybe I should try that 2 ways too. Stephen is asking what is double potting. Um, the broad bean comes with like an when you take them out of the pod, you get the beans, and then you can I think you blanch those, and then you take the outer pod off of just the bean, and then there's an inner bean that is really smooth and creamy. So typically they're a little more labor intensive. And considering I don't like to shell peas, uh, so that might be a lot. Um, but yeah. Oh, and Amelia's saying if you old broad beans need double potting. If you pick them young, you only need to pod once. Okay, so I think there's a whole probably culture to a broad bean and what works nicely and what doesn't. Um, yeah, so, and I think forgive me if I'm wrong, I think that's more of a UK specialty is the broad beans because I'd never heard of a broad bean. And I know we just call it a different name, but I don't hear much about fava beans over here either, other than that movie where Cannibal Lecter liked fava beans with a Chianti. That's about my reference to broad beans. Um, okay, let me catch up if there's anything else happening. Silence of the Lambs. That is correct. Yeah, that's my. Okay, I've got a question here. What is your favorite to grow and favorite to eat? Wow, that's a big question. Uh, hmm. Uh, this can't be that difficult. Probably because those are definitely two different things, aren't they? Um, favorite to grow might be, gosh, there's so many things. There are so many things. Uh, okay, I'm going to think about that for a few minutes because we're going to have all kinds of dead time if I have to come up with that. Uh, oh, favorite might be I love a green bean right out of the garden, like a thin fillet green bean. I mean, those are, you can snack on those. You don't even need to cook them half the time. That's one of my favorite things in the summer, to pick and just bring them in and cook with them. A favorite thing to grow might be peppers, uh, hot or mild or whatever, because they're so beautiful, and they're also so very, you can do so many things with them. And sometimes I don't even care if I pick all of them. They just are so pretty. Who doesn't like to see a plant filled with beautiful orange peppers, whether they're hot, sizzling, or lovely and mild? So that maybe that's just a lot. I love growing a lot of things. So thank you for the question. I don't think I answered that very well. So Stephen, I think he likes okra. I grow okra for, I don't grow it to eat it. I grow it because I think the plants are very sculptural and beautiful, and they have these gorgeous blooms. And then I let the pods dry, and I use them as fall decoration in my home. So that's what I do with okra. And probably part of it is, I've never really learned how to cook okra properly. So I know there's a whole thing, and I've even purchased. I collect cookbooks. That's kind of, if I collect anything other than seeds, um, that would be what I collect. And I have a lot of Southern, um, like junior league cookbooks, or you know, and I just have not had a whole lot of success in cooking okra, so I don't usually eat it. What does okra taste like? Well, you might want to talk to someone uh, who knows how to cook it well, but it can be very, and this is the thing that okra gets its bad name about, is it can be very slimy on the inside if it's not cooked properly. Many times I see it breaded and deep fried, which I always feel like you could take an old shoe and bread it and deep fry it, and it might be okay. Uh, I've had it cooked proper, deep fried, and it's I don't know if I could give it a name to a flavor. Maybe Steven will comment on that, because I think maybe he likes okra. Um, oh, and Rebecca is saying it has a nutty flavor. I could see that. I remember as I tasted those. Yeah, I could see that. Um, but yeah, so I just really grow them because I think they're beautiful plants. Um, Now, oh, this is good. Fiona is saying I've never heard of okra until YouTube, because it probably doesn't grow well in the UK. It really loves heat. It's like so many things. So many things depend on where you are and what your experience has been. Um, oh, I've never used it that way. Robin is saying it's good to thicken soups and stews, probably because of the inside that can be a little slimy, I guess. I've never tasted a slimy okra, so I'm also talking about. I'm just talking about what I've heard. Um, Okra's now. See, that I could probably do. Robin is saying okra is great dehydrated. That sounds okay. I now have a new vision for okra, because I'm always looking for. I think we all like. I shouldn't say we all. Many of us like crunchy things, but I don't always want to eat crunchy things that are, you know, uh, over manufactured stuff that just happens to be crunchy. But deep fried stuff, excuse me, dehydrated stuff can be, that is a great idea. Robin, I am stealing that one once the okra starts producing. Thank you. That is a great idea. Have I ever heard of the Majorcan pea bean in the US? I, I have heard of it just on the Potty Mouth Discord. I think I saw someone looking for it. So maybe it was Pauline that I saw looking for it. And I thought, wow, I've never heard of that before. So, no, I've heard of Majorca and I've heard of pea beans, but so it's more like a black eyed pea kind of bean, maybe. Yeah, I don't know. Well, I've got to tell you, Fiona, if you get a good freeze dryer, oh, a freeze dryer. Oh, that's a whole different ball game. I thought you were saying a dehydrator. Yes, no, they are. Yes, they're ridiculous. I agree. And and I had, if we had had access to things like freeze dryers back when my kids were young, I would have gotten one because I see the incredible value of that. But now I'm like, it's just my husband and I. Do I really want to? But oh, the uses would be incredible. Yeah, it's almost like one of those things I'd like to like get four people to go in on together, and that we'd all use. I just don't know that I know three other people that could be bothered doing that. I have a lot of friends that they order dinner like from a menu most nights. So, uh, yeah. So let's see. What are Trader Joe's? Oh, Trader Joe's, man, they just have everything, don't they? I love Trader Joe's. They have a dehydrated okra snack, and it's great. I have also tried pickled okra that was phenomenal. I've never pickled it myself, but the pickled okra that I've had is uh, great. Was great. So next week, I think it's time to. What was I thinking? I was thinking about this just before the show. Next week, we're into the third week in March. Uh, so I think I might get some kales going. I'm trying to use my every 3 week um, succession sowing. So I also did that today. I got another flat ready for my succession sowing, which is wonderful because as you see holes in maybe what you're doing, you can pop in something else in the succession. So today I did start some black magic kale instead of, I guess I'd only picked out 11 things to grow this week to plant in there. And I thought, oh, well, I can see that I have a gap in kale. So I started some kale instead. So it's really nice. It feels like a very, um, it almost gives you a little discipline in the, I don't know how you guys, sometimes I want to sow everything. I want to sow a lot of it. And then I end up with just way too much. And this kind of gives me, I have a little 6-pack that I can grow beets in. I have another 6-pack that I can grow some golden beets in. I have another 6-pack for lettuce. I have another 6-pack for lettuce. And it kind of helps me, I don't know, I can feel like my mind is really wrapped around this idea. And I think it's really going to help me manage my garden. It's going to help me manage the harvesting so that everything doesn't come all in the same day. Uh, so I'm really really excited about that. So I can see there's some freeze dryer activity going on in the chat. I think they would be absolutely it'd be wonderful to have one of those. But they're pricey little. I thought my electric pressure cooker was pricey, and it's not even in the same league as a dehydrator. So yeah. So is there anything that you're feeling behind on at this point? Or is it still early enough that you feel like you're kind of uh, getting things in when they need to get in? I'm a little concerned about my hot peppers. They've been in for several weeks and they are just little, they don't even have their true leaves on yet. So they're growing, but they are growing really slow. I don't remember them growing this slow before, but it might have been that I wasn't really watching. I'm a little more tuned into what's happening in the garden now because of the YouTube channel. And I think I did a lot by um, a little more instinctive, which didn't work as well. So, but now that I'm watching, I'm like, yeah, they're really growing super slow. Wait, someone's building. Oh, wait a minute. We gotta see this one. I've got 20 plus raised beds to build and fill on a slope. The new main section of veg growing. Wow, that's a job. Wow, that is a serious job. Um, well, good luck with that, Nicola. Yeah, that is, and building on a slope is like a whole different ball game because you kind of want your beds on the slope so you can have some flat in between the beds. So yeah, that's like an engineering feat to do that, I think. Um, wait, I see a whole bunch of comments here. So good luck with that, Nicola. That is a big that's a big job. Let's see. Somebody else. I saw other people were talking about what they're growing. Yeah, 20 plus raised bed. That is a nice garden. That is a big garden. Rain is saying I'm behind on my sweet peppers. Oh, isn't it? I know it's not too late. No, I don't think you're a sweet pepper is going to come up pretty quick, and even if you have to put it under cover, like at the end of the season to prolong it a little bit, little warmth on the top will help. But I think we're still early enough, regardless of where you are, to start some more sweet peppers. It's just hard when isn't it hard when you plant and then it's like there's a crop fail and you got to start over and you wonder. I always say give it a shot, even if you think you might be too late, because you just never really know. With this weather, you might be just on time. Um, Fiona's behind on my plot prep. Oh, well, and I would say give yourself grace for that. Like, stuff happens, and that's okay. And that might cause you to have to um, rework your design or your expectations for this year. And I just say throttle them back a little bit and be gentle on your back because that's going to be with you a whole lot more than this season of gardening. So I do hope that whatever's going on there works its way out because back issues are no joke. Let's see. My pepper. Oh, I think you're responding to someone else. Uh, Here we go. A watched pot never boils. Well, it can boil, but it's going to take a long time. uh, Hi, Garden of Whedon. Good to have you. Uh, let's see. Nicola's got, I've got 810 tons of horse manure and wood chip and mushroom compost. Wow. So you're like, you are seriously, this is a serious redo of a garden. That is, wow. I wish you much energy and much patience because that's and watch your back because again, that will be with you longer than this garden. Um, wow, that is a lot. I wish you the best. I really do. But how fun. Clean slates are fun. And it lets you just dream. Dream big. Um, let's see, what is okay. Let's Grow Home is saying they haven't started my sweet peppers yet either. Should really get them in. Chilies were done mid-January. Oh, I thought I started mine early. I could have probably started just a mish earlier. Um, oh, Quiet Space is saying she's here and her husband's been gone for 4 weeks. Well, lovely. Well, I hope you have a lovely reunion. That's a long time away, isn't it? Um, Pauline is saying she's trying to gauge when to sow her tomatoes as I go on holiday in June. And last year, I took my young plants with me. Now that's a gardener, okay? Taking your plants with you on vacation. Yeah, I've got to say I've never done that. That's okay. You have props for that one, Pauline. That's like wow, that's crazy. Crazy awesome. That's what I will say. Crazy awesome. Frances just sowed her hot peppers and some sweet king of the north, lavender, aubergines, leeks, and shallots. Have lettuces growing indoors for winter use. May have some to plant. Wow, you are doing great. That is a great group of seeds going. Love it. Love it. I love to hear what you all are doing in your gardens. I think it encourages all of us to know. I am so glad I don't have a big slug problem because I know that in the UK and parts of the US, it's just that has not been anything that I've had to deal with. I do see their slimy little trails sometimes on my cement, so I know we have some, but I've never had them as a real hindrance. But I had 8 of my 10 peppers come up, but a slug cleaned them in one night. No, I say reseed them, and absolutely. And either they produce like you'd want, or you get just a few. But I say don't give up until I wouldn't say reseed in August, but I think you're good. Uh, oh, I'm sorry, I missed a few of those. Is there a mod on here? No, there's not. So I'm just going to go back real quick and see if there's some stuff that. Oh, hello. I see at least one. So sorry. Did take the comment off though. There we go. So we'll see. Is there more? I just want to go really, we're just gardening here for crying out loud, right? Okay, so I'll keep an eyeball on that a little closer. And I think I'm almost at a point where I do need to have a mod on here. So I will work towards that because I don't like any of that nasty stuff. Uh, I did see. Okay. Oh, lovely. That's so true. So yeah, I will sort that out so that we don't have to worry about any of that anymore because what's the point? What's the bloody point? As I quote my friend JB. Uh oh, I didn't see that. Oh, I can make him a mod. Yes, I will make JB a mod. But I don't. Right now I'm gonna just try to focus. We're almost 45 minutes in, so we will make sure that is available, and I will. There's a couple of you that have lovely offered, so I will uh, get you back. I will contact you, and we can take care of that. That would be wonderful. So, Quiet Space is asking how did you rid young earwigs in planter soil? Uh, I'm not sure. Are you asking how do you get rid of young ones? Oh, because you seem to have a lot of them there. Uh, I don't really know. I have never, because so it seems like they planted eggs. There's earwig eggs maybe in your planter soil. Uh, I don't know because I try not to do anything like of a pesticide nature. Uh, Rob is saying maybe cosmic soda would work. Yeah, I do not. I don't have an answer for that, and I won't pretend like I do. So, if any of you in the chat uh, have an idea, please put it up there so that we can help out on this one. Oh, wow. Yeah, I've never had that problem. And earwigs are just horrifying little bugs. I really don't. They remind me of like millipedes. They're just. I know they have their space in the whole uh, world, of who eats what, but they're not my favorites. Um, okay, so so caustic soda seems like it. I don't even know what that is. I don't know that we have that here in the States. Uh, okay, I'm being asked, am I trying to grow any new veg this year? Uh, New varieties. I don't think I'm growing a particular type that I haven't grown before. I think I've been more focused this year on what I'm not growing, um, because I'm trying to be very selective about what I'm growing and uh, not trying to do too too much. That's more, I go all in. That's kind of my personality. If I just go all in, and I'm trying to go, you could rein it back in just a little bit and it will still be a fabulous garden. So I don't know that I'm trying to think if there is a new veg. I really don't think so. But also, I've been gardening for like 30 years. So it would definitely be new varieties of things. But over the years, I've tried just about everything out there. Uh, so, not that I'm saying there's nothing new there is always something new. Um, but yeah, I don't think there is this year. And if there is, I will bring that up next week. Mags is asking, why do I graft tomatoes? Well, I'm grafting them this year because I grow a lot of heirlooms. And you know how uh, the F1s produce better because they've been bred to produce better and uh, produce more fruit. So some of these heirlooms, I want to see that if I graft them onto a vigorous rootstock, will I get more production out of my heirlooms, which taste, I mean, they're phenomenal in their taste. And in a tomato like Brad's Atomic Grape, which again looks kind of frail, it's not a vigorous plant by any means, but it produces a great deal of fruit. But if I graft that onto a more vigorous rootstock, will my plant produce more? So it's kind of I'm going back to some methods I used years ago, which did great. But now I think my reason for doing it is more, I want to see if I can get the heirlooms producing like the F1s produce, even though they aren't being bred to do that. So if I could just graft them onto something else, that would sure be wonderful. So I'm hoping within like the next, I don't know, 3 to 4 weeks, I'll do a video on the grafting, and it's very fun. And if you're at all kind of a garden nerd, um, it's fun to try. I mean, you can graft cucumbers, you can graft eggplants, you can pretty much you can graft a whole lot of things. And sometimes it's like, even if you have a tomato that is just super vigorous, you can graft another tomato onto that just to see if that stock would help. You don't necessarily have to just use rootstock. You can just use good rootstock that like this tomato always produces for me. But they do have specialized rootstocks that produce not so great tomatoes, but they produce an incredible web of roots. Well, that's a good question. Let me see. Try not to miss anything. Oh, that's kind of good. Have you ever tried to create your own variety of any plant? Well, quick answer is no. And yet, I know I've saved seed from things, and this was, back years ago, and they had crossed with something else, like a squash or something. If you grow those within a certain sphere of each other, they will cross, and the seed won't be the same. Or if you save seeds from F1s, they won't be the same. But I have never done it on purpose. So I think that would be really cool to try. But I would need to do a whole lot more reading up on how that exactly happens, and depending on what you're trying to grow. But I think that would be great fun to do. That's a great idea too. I hadn't even been thinking about that. And I don't think it's so, but I just know you have to do it for a lot of generations to get the genetics in that plant to stabilize. So I know there's a whole process to it. And so I'm always impressed when a new variety comes out and it comes out like as open pollinated, because you know they have, this is not just an F1 that you can't produce the same thing. They have taken this all the way. And yeah, it's very impressive to me because I know you need to do a lot. Hi, Jane. Welcome. Good to see you. I know you've probably been teaching. Okay, this is from Sharon. I didn't get the garden ready for ground planting fruit trees. Would they be okay in big pots? Uh, I think absolutely. Um, Particularly if you're starting them off as like bare rootstock. And you could also then transplant them into the ground in the fall, because that's also a lovely time for plants, to do that. So, yeah, I think you'd be fine. I think the big thing about that is just making sure that they get a lot of water and nutrition, because they won't be in the garden themselves. But yeah, I see no reason why that would not work. Yeah, pots are always a great solution when we are trying to get things off and running and maybe our spaces aren't ready yet. I think a pot is always great. Oh, here's a few more. Okay. Do we have any other questions? We're really coming up on the hour. I can't believe how quickly this hour flies by. Don't forget on Mondays, Potty Mouth Garden Club. Fun, fun, fun. Uh, yeah, we're good. So think about what next week brings. We're going to be in the third week of March, which means, that's, let me think. We're the 21st. I think the 21st is in the next week. It might not be. But we're hitting like spring. So, hi, Jane. Yes, I sowed my tomatoes on Tuesday, and I sowed my tomato rootstock today. So they are off, and I'm thrilled, because I don't know if you know, I am going to be doing grafting on my tomatoes this year. So they lose about a week when the stem and the root are healing together. So I wanted to get them off just a mish earlier than normal. And which veg are you most looking forward to harvesting this year? Wow, you ask really good questions. They really make me think. Um, I have some Crown Prince squash seeds. Very excited to harvest those this year. I'm always excited to harvest tomatoes. Uh, Now that I have been given the idea of dehydrating okra, I think I'm going to be really looking forward to harvesting okra this year. I normally just enjoy it for the beautiful plant that it is, but I think I'm looking forward to that. I'm in a parsnip challenge this year. I'm in a sweetabaga challenge. So there's going to be a whole lot of things that I think are going to be really fun to harvest this year, because I'd like to win both of those competitions. Anyway, uh, yeah, thank you all so much for coming out. It's so fun to see you all. Um, Oh, okay. Well, let me think about that. Fiona is asking maybe you should ask for questions in advance one week. Well, I could probably put that in the community chat, the community part, and just ask for questions. I think that'd be a great idea. And that would give me a minute to think about them. Wouldn't mind that either. Uh, so, anyway, so nice today. Thoroughly enjoyed this. Again, thank you so much for coming out. I love that I am getting to know you each. Uh, yeah, this was lovely. Thank you so much. You have a great week. Be kind to yourself if your seeds aren't coming up. And, you know, it's amazing how they catch up once they get out there in the warmth. And, their job is to grow. That's a seed's job. It has one job. So sometimes we just have to help it along, right? So you have a great week. And same time, same place next week. Thanks so much. Bye now.